special interview with us. We have with us the representative of District Number 9, Nimba County, Honorable Johnson Gwaikolo. Gwaikolo has been in the business for a very long time. Politics is his area. He understands the political setting of our country, and he wants to contribute to his country and people. Honorable Gwaikolo has been in the House of Representatives for just one term. I think there is 4 years in the House of in the House of at the National Legislature, specifically the lower House of Representatives, and Honorable Gwaikolo has been immensely contributing to the growth and development of that area. Honorable Gwaikolo, welcome to this interview, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Okay, let me say to you that we have Nimba Dinan TV, one of the more premier television in Nimba County, promoting the development agenda of that county, and we have with us Liberia Public Radio. Public Radio is an international and national radio station both in Liberia and the United States, propagating major news from Liberia, United States, Ivory Coast, and other parts of the world, like Dinan TV. And we also have the Liberia Broadcasting System, that is LBS. LBS also represented here. We have with us all of those institutions carrying this program live. And let's first of all dive into what is obtained at the capital. How is the capital first? You will be taking your Easter break tomorrow, I guess today, and you'll be traveling out of Monrovia. Just draw through from the capital first.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to have me granted this opportunity to appear on your platform just to discuss national issues. Thank you. Before we get into that, let me just take the first few minutes to just extend my deepest sympathies to the family members of Miss Princess Cooper, whose body was found, not too long ago, who may have been killed mysteriously. We'd like to extend our sympathies to her family and to the family of all those who have been in similar situations where their bodies were found, and the investigations are still going on. We call on the national security forces to conduct thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding Princess' death, and not only her death, but other deaths that are happening that have not been fully concluded. I'd just like to start by that. But the Capitol building is all right. We like to note that the amendment was passed the other day to adjust the vacation schedule for the legislature. So that is the reason why we closed this week so as to open the middle of May. Given the fact that the budget year, the fiscal year, was adjusted to correspond with the calendar year, we had to make similar adjustments so that we will be available for the presentation of the national budget without breaching the Constitution. The Constitution provides that the House shall assemble once a year, the second Monday in January. So our new break schedule does not violate that. The first one is the one we just started from
Is this the Easter break or
yeah, it incorporates Easter holiday. So yes, from now to the middle of May, and then the second one is from June, July to September. Then we come back October, to December, and then December we break off just for the Christmas holiday and come back in January.
Wow.
So we are.
That's a very new. That's some major changes within the calendar year.
Yes, in the past it was a 6-month period. Yeah, but this time it's like a 2-month period for 3 times.
Because of that, many pundits of the legislature usually say that the members of the legislature only work for like 6 months. The rest of it, they are resting.
Yeah, the working arrangement for the legislature is you work at the Capitol building, where you attend sessions, you attend committee meetings, and you engage even foreign counterparts that come to you. The second part is you work in your district as well. Because when you go to the district, you go there to interact and engage members of your constituency. So that's part of the work. Even as we are going on break, you know, we will be engaging members of the constituency who do not have the opportunity to come to Monrovia. For example, district number 9 has over 26,000 voters. All 26,000 cannot come to Monrovia to see their lawmaker. So you have to go back there, you know, to engage them and interact with them to know what their concerns are. And that's how the work goes on. Even as we are on break, those of us on leadership will be meeting every Monday because the House, even if you're on break, cannot close. So we'll carry on legislative functions of oversight and advocacy. The only thing we can do over the break is to make law.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
the entire plenary.
I'm a bit jittery over this new adjustment. How do you experience? When you experience an inconvenience as you break from 6 to 2 months?
Well, no, except that the 6 months have now been divided into 3 parts of 2 months each.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Okay. You know, anything that changes require adjustment. So we just have to adjust our mindset, adjust our own thought process so that we know we are going for 2 months instead of 6. Okay. Yeah, so that's what it is.
You just rejected the Chancellor Maker deal. Can you speak to that?
Yes, that was a well thought out decision by the legislature. There were misunderstandings from the public, and at least the public has absolved us that indeed our previous actions did not ratify the amendment. And let me just take the time to go through what ratification is. Ratification is when you bring me a document and I read through it and I agree with it totally and I sign off on it and through the document, discussed it, and thought that there were some key actions, key points that were left out of the document. And so they said, no, Senate, we are sending this document to you with the following recommendations. And those recommendations were captured and signed by committee members and forwarded to the Senate. The Senate looked at it and did the same thing and said, look, House, you send this to us, but we will send it back to you with amendments as well. You know, and so that did not correspond to a passage or ratification. So in its entirety, the legislature thought that, no, this agreement is good, but it can be made better. You see, so let's send it back to the executive so that the executive can incorporate, you know, some things into the agreement that will be to the benefit of the country. The 3 key points. 1, the rail, ownership and management of the rail is very important. The agreement, yes, had this monopolistic tendency where they were going to own the rail, they were going to own and operate the port, and housing needed to be improved. It has not been done. Even equity that belongs to Liberia, you know, there has been no returns, you know, since this company started. So with all those concerns, we say no. Let's send this back so that, you know, it can be renegotiated.
Gwaikolo, is that actually sincere? Is that actually sincere on the part of the lower house? With all of those that you are saying that there are key issues, key actions that needed to be addressed, and the action was not addressed in that document. But other people are saying the document has suffered because of the upcoming election. There has been public outcry from the people. So if you pass this, you could also suffer the wrath of the people during the election period. How do you react to that?
I don't understand that one. But
the president will be losing votes, especially for people.
Especially where the concession is, Nimba County. there has been serious problem of that on the people. But you are all learning factor for which you didn't rectify the document. But people are saying in the public that you rejected the document because you want votes.
I've not yet heard from anybody from the county or anywhere who said, oh, Honorable Gwaikolo, the decision you took was wrong. Because that's what the people of Nimba wanted. If you recall, all the petitions, all the demonstrations, the discussions from the three counties were geared towards don't pass this ratification, don't agree to this ratification. Now that has happened. So they can't come back again and say, oh, why did you refuse ratification? In my mind and in our action, and not only for the three counties that are affected mainly by the operations of this company, but the entire republic. You know, we need to understand the ownership of the rail. We cannot, as a nation, divest ourselves of ownership of the rail. You see, the port, that's our asset. Whether
but they are using it for Mita. Honorable Mita going to use it for some length of time. It won't be with them forever. Why not? I mean, they're going to invest almost $1 billion into the country, but they're saying they have some monopoly over the company for some period of time. What's a big difference about it?
Oh, yeah,
it's a big issue about this.
Yeah, there is a big issue. There is. Because that is my property.
Okay.
You cannot just take it.
Yeah, you can't just take it and say, you know, I'm going to take it to my exclusive use. You know, it is like I have my house. I got rooms in there to rent. You know, then I rent it to you. Then you say, no, you know, I will take the whole house, and that not being an agreement, that I will take the whole house, and I or you will approve who goes into the house to be, you know, to be a tenant, or and when they will go into the house to be a tenant and all that kind of stuff. So it creates, you know, that closure for me to have access to my asset, which is in this case, you know. So they needed to really redefine, you know, the conditions of that, so that at the end of the day, you know, we don't have an asset that we can use. Yeah, that's basically what we're saying.
So since then, what are the feedback from your district, from your county, Nimba County? Because Nimba was one of the counties greatly opposing the ratification of that amended agreement.
They have been positive. They have been commending the action of the legislature.
You've been hailed as a hero.
Well, not necessarily. Rather, just being appreciated that indeed, you know, the lawmakers listen to us and they adhere to our call, and they didn't pass this, you know, amendment. But what is important here is that the agreement still has 9 more years.
Okay.
You see, yes.
The first agreement.
Does I mean, the rejected amendment agreement, does it say our feature in the Liberian governance system?
Well, the amendment was calling for an extension beyond the 9 years, which ends in 2034 or something like that.
Yeah. They want to extend it to 2049.
Yeah, they want to extend it to 2049.
Does it say our feature?
Well, I don't know. It's 20, is the 9, at the end of the 9 years, if they want to, you know, extend, then they have to submit, another, you know, amendment for us to look at it and see whether, you know, it is viable for us here in the country.
Okay. Honorable, you watching special interview and also listening to it on the voice of Secretary. We are also on the voice of Yahweh Mesono in District Number 9, Nimba County. We have with us as our guest this afternoon from Monrovia, the Honorable Representative Johnson in Gwaikolo. He's the House's chair of Rules, Law and Administration. He is determined that you tell me, right?
No, 7.
The number 7th
And more influential.
man at the level of the legislature. So he's very much powerful. This afternoon, we're talking to we're talking with him, and as it relates to issues, a cross-cutting issue across Liberia. But Honorable, let's dissect a little bit. Let's go to your district now. Tell us in a few minutes. Tell us how is the district now? You've previously served as chair on education. Recently, we saw a dedication of Ministry of Education officials. They visited Nimba, and I guess they also passed in your district at your district headquarters. They also make a little stop there. So how is it like? How is the district in fact?
The district is faring well. Yeah, without fear of contradiction, and being very appreciative to the citizens of that district. They are doing very well. Projects that we committed to at the onset of our administration, we are doing it, successfully. We have several pillars, infrastructure, education, health, youth development. All of those have been attended to the grateful appreciation of a majority of the citizens of the district, and to my own gratefulness to them, because even if you have all the resources to do a particular piece of work, if the citizens don't help to do that work, it will not get done.
Okay.
You see, and so we see that progress is being made because this collaboration, this cooperation is there, and our people are appreciating that. So we feel very good about it. We were very excited that the Minister of Education included Yahweh Mesron Education District in his tour. Wow. And he went out there and acknowledged that indeed we had been, knocking his shoulder for him to go and see the district, because there are major concerns. As when I serve as chair on education, that we brought to the attention of the minister that indeed we know this is a national issue. The issue of teachers being out of classrooms, the issue of infrastructure challenges, the issues of no textbooks and all of that. But, the emphasis was, the district that, I came from, and serving as chair, at least let's pay some attention to it. And eventually he went out there, had a meeting with the citizens, and then articulated that indeed certain things are being done, to correct those situations, which I'm really thankful to him about.
Honorable, how do you overcome some of those challenges that you think confronting the district? Sometimes not many persons will want to have those kind of innovation.
Well, and that's the unfortunate situation about this thing. Many things that we, the lawmakers, do are national functions. Yes.
Yeah, sometimes the way you portray yourself during electionary period, Honorable.
Well, it's a two-way street. Yeah, the expectation, for example, you go to campaign, you go to talk to your citizens, then they tell you, in their welcoming statement, they say, Honorable, our issue here, our concern here is school. The only person who can build us the school that the person will vote for. And just all over this country, people will say, yeah, you want to vote. So
some of the promises, sometimes they are not realistic.
It's just political statement. You see, political statement. We have to be realistic, yeah. The citizens, know it is political statement. Then the contestants themselves know, because everybody who goes there will tell you, say, yes, we'll vote. Or we will do this for you, do that for you. So at the end of the day, when you become successful, you have to do everything possible to adhere to that with the cooperation of the citizens. Again, you let the citizens know that even if I have to do this, it requires your cooperation, because leadership is not a one-person arrangement. That's the fallacy that we have not understood, that what makes it difficult for us to. We'll continue to let our people know that, when you put a representative in the chair, he or she sits in that chair alone. But the actions are not alone. And some of us do make every effort to incorporate and encourage the citizens to be a part of the process.
Does your action sometimes been influenced by your constituents? Sometimes the way they want things to happen, and can sometimes that influence your behavior? Not only you, but lawmakers as a whole. Sometimes Can that happen?
Yes, because that's what the break period is all about. You are to go back and interact with your citizens, hear their concerns, what is a priority to them. Then when you come back now, or even before you come back, you sit down with them and map out what is possible, what is not possible. Then when you come back, you look for ways and means to attend to that. And that is very important. For example, there was a certain community in a district that didn't have a school at all, school building at all. You know, we talked to the ministry, we talked to the county health, education arrangement. It was not in their budget. They were not prepared. So we had to look for the resources, you know, to build that school, you know, out of our own, you know, personal resources. And this is not limited to one lawmaker alone. Everybody who do projects in their areas, you know, they are, you know, coming forth with these commitments and living to it by taking those initiatives on their own.
I know sometimes some of those actions constrain you as a lawmaker to go the extra mile, digging into your own pocket, and then sometimes it becomes so much terrifying for you.
That is true. That's why the comments sometimes they become derogatory about 30,000 that government gave to lawmakers. I don't comment on it because I believe, you know, those comments that are made are not in good faith. Nobody is trying to speak on behalf of their citizens by saying, oh, lawmakers, you all receive 30,000, you all come account for it. I don't have to account for that because the accounting for 30,000 is visible in my district and in many other districts by other people. For example, the school that I'm talking about, the value of that school is more than 25,000. That's just one project.
One project.
Yes. Then you have the radio station that was upgraded, you know, that is on now every day. You know,
giving information to the people.
Yeah, giving information to the people. You put, you know, the value to it is more than 10,000. Then you got a district office, you know, that I've been built by myself. It's more than 35,000. You know, and others. You have students that you got in school. You got a personal assistance that you give to people. Then somebody can tell me, say, oh,
30,000.
can't give me a kind of 30,000. No, I need more than that.
30,000 is just a drop in the bucket.
Yes, yes. So the only thing is keep your focus on what you do for your people. That's very important. You know, whether you got 30,000, you got 100,000, you know, you don't have no thousand, just do the best you can so that you can help your people, you know, to help themselves. And that's what most of us are doing.
Honorable, sometimes there are a lot of misunderstanding, misconception about the work you do, about the spending you do, the money you receive in the public, especially among those that you call the politicians. Sometimes they want to infiltrate your camp because they want state power too. So how do you manage those kind of misinformation so that you can calm down some of those tension within your district, or sometimes cool down the minds of people in your district?
You know, that's a very important question there. Very good point. Because I don't know whether our people, and most of them do understand what politics is. But my experience, because sometimes people ask me, what is your experience? You know, from the education sector to now direct, heavily involved in heavy involvement in politics. It is the fabrication. It is the misinformation that is detrimental to our people and our own people. For example, somebody calls on a radio station that we put together and have functional, that we are responsible for 100%. Some opposition person calls and say, on the same radio station, and say, oh, the honorable is not doing anything. Now, you know, and people wonder, but why is he saying that? At the main radio, you're talking on there, you say you're not doing anything. You know, you manage to arrange the road to be rehabilitated. You drive on that road and go into the district and you say, oh, the honorable is not doing anything. How did you get there? You know, the road that you drove on is the honorable's, you know, work, you know, through his advocacy or even direct involvement that you've done that. You see, and our people sit and think. But you know, the important thing is our people, most of them are not educated, but they are informed. You know, they are wise. They know that most of these statements that our people make are just intended to cause confusion, and in many instances they will tell us, say, look, you know, you can't come and tell us, say, this person is not doing this when you know, see that the person is doing
So
this.
how do you overcome some of those misinformation in your district? Because I guess you are also experiencing some of those.
Yes. The approach to it is not to be reactive. Yeah, not to be, you know, just for example, if you're doing a particular project, you get into the community, you discuss the project with your people.
Yeah.
But don't take the time to be reacting to statements. You hear something here, then you go, oh, that person talking, they're not correct. No, the people will see it themselves. If the person tells me so, that in community A, there's no hand mark there, then you go and call the town people in community A and present your hand mark to them. So it will be left with them to determine whether what the other person said is true or not.
So visibility is the tool you use
Exactly.
to combat misinformation against your administration.
Exactly. Visibility, information dissemination, you know, direct participation in things. You know, when you're going out to dedicate a project or to even groundbreak for a project, you go out and invite people. You know, come, let's do this thing together.
Okay.
Come, let's see this together.
All right, Honorable, we've been talking about projects and zooming our camera recently when we took an independent tour in the district, we saw several ongoing projects. Some have been completed and some are still ongoing. Specifically, road is one thing that almost every part of Liberia people usually crowd about. People talk about farm to market road. It's a major concern for every Liberian. And tell us, how is it when it comes to your district, Yawin Mesono, in terms of road rehabilitation? I know that you as an individual don't have that kind of a funding to rehabilitate or pave a road, but how is it like?
Good. Road rehabilitation is one of our pillars, and it is a serious challenge for electoral district number 9. But I would say that we are making progress that all of us from district number 9 should be proud of and work along with it. When we took over, our major route that goes to district number 9 is from the town called Gwaikolo after Seklepie. Yeah, Gwaikolo to Zigepa to Tapeta. That's the major route. Another route is when you get to Gwaikolo to Zigepa to Powin, then you go on the right to Dampa, you know, to Zanzei. That's another major route. And let me just say that when we took over, we got involved with the community people and got them the community forest status. And that forest was contracted to a logging company. And the agreement between the logging company and the community called for road rehabilitation. So the roads in Glinlong area, yes, are now being rehabilitated. It started slowly. Everything in the beginning can be slow, but we made sufficient effort, the citizens' effort, our own effort. The roads now are beginning to take shape. So we are happy about that. Okay. Secondly, the road from Gwaikolo to Zigepa to Tapeta, when we took over, we advocated with Public Works Ministry. They accepted that. And now that road has started. To the extent that we got concerned, and for the first time in the history of that district, for a Public Works Minister to go and see the road, we took all their in-house technicians because I was not satisfied with the performance of the company. The Public Works people themselves were not satisfied, so we took them over there to see what is happening. They are opening the road. Why? Passage is much better than it was in the past, but you know they need to do more. You see, and that when the report is coming, whether the company will stay or some empowerment will be given it to complete the work, that's yet to be seen. The third component was some time ago the counting machine was broken down in district number 9.
Okay.
And so at the last council sitting, we agreed that, we'll repair the equipment and bring them on the road. And my appeal to my colleagues was that wherever the equipment is and has been repaired, don't just take it and, drive it out of the place. Let it work its way, to the bike. And that's what we did in district number 9. We provided the fuel ourselves. The equipment is for the county, so we provided the fuel to the extent that it did some of those roads, particularly from Lintain, water crossing to Gawi, and then it took a break, and it came to Philidine to Gwaikolo, and so that has been done perfectly well. So we are happy about the progress of road rehabilitation in the district, and then to the appreciation of the citizens and their own call and their own willingness to work along with us.
Health, what can you say?
Health. We are working hard. The last budget year, 2020-2021, we advocated and they put 40,000 into the budget. Yeah. Now, once you do that, for district number 9.
For district number 9?
Yeah, 40,000.
You are so much influential, Honorable.
Well, we do our best.
Is it because your position as a rules order administration?
A lot of experience for the government system of country.
Yeah, it's the potential that the speaker saw in me and placed me at that level, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful to the people of District 9 because if they had not elected me, I would not have become the number 7 person in the legislature at this time. So what we have been doing since we got there, got the speaker to say, oh no, this gentleman can work, better in this position, let's put him there. Yeah, and so health, yeah, so that money was not accessed by the district. Yeah, so it lapsed. So this year we pushed again and said, no, we gave you 40,000, you didn't touch it. So they only gave 20,000 this time around. Yeah, 20,000. I said, well, 10 better than 0. So, and I called the health team this time. I told them, I said, look, this time myself will get involved, to make sure I keep tab on you so that this money can be accessed for you to do some work in the district. Because we don't go after it ourselves, because once we put it there, we can't go back there again. It is the operators that have to go there. We also helped to build a clinic in Zanzee that was funded by the Acres of Hope Belgium. Yeah, they came to Liberia, started the project. Some disagreement occurred. Yeah, they left, never to come back. But when we heard about it, we called them back and they accepted our invitation. And the clinic has now been completed and is functional at this moment. We even like to report that Acres of Hope, is helping the clinic, with even stipend for the first 3 years.
Okay.
So that is a very good achievement out there.
So let's continue with the district. What's about education? Education, you talk about rehabilitation of a school or schools in the area.
Yeah.
What can you say about this?
Yeah, our education sector, we are rebuilding.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was terrible.
Okay.
It was terrible. And, to the extent that even the high school, was not allowed to register 12 graders because their performance was not correct. I accepted that. I agreed to it. Yes, because there was no need. You send students for exam, then they come and break a record on the negative side. You see, yeah, or set record on the negative side. You go, all the students fail the first year, all the students fail the next year. Say, no, you all bring this down so that the students can prepare themselves better. Now, it wasn't just the students themselves. I mean, only the instructional staff, you see, was not there. You see, so we talked until the new district education officer from the district was now hired based on our recommendation. So he has been doing very well. And so that's what prompted, the education minister to go out and see things for himself. In other parts of the district, we helped to elevate a school to high school. Yeah, in the Dole area, they didn't have any high school there at all. So we worked along with them, and then they elevated, you know, their school to high school, and they had their first graduation last year. In the Gwaikolo area, their seating capacity, some companies did some good schools for them, but no chairs, no place to sit down.
Those are challenges. Those are challenges that are different in the educational system.
Absolutely.
Instructional staff.
Yes.
Sitting capacity. Those
Yes.
are just challenges.
Yes. So we've been helping them with the seating capacities.
Okay.
Yes. You know, letting them know that indeed the chairs need to be constructed. So we've done that, particularly in the Gwaikolo area. Yeah. For the instructional staff, the minister, that's why he's taking this nationwide tour, because we've been saying that in most of the schools, the teachers are not there. So go out and see, and then come and respond. You see, and that's what they're doing. So we are happy about that. We know that in the shortest possible time, we'll see our schools being fully staffed like they were in the past.
Okay, if you just joined us, you're watching a special interview here on Liberia Public Radio, Nimba television. We are also on the Voice of Yahweh Mesono, FM 99.3. We are also on the Voice of Saclipie, Radio Saclipie, that is based in Saclipie City, Nimba County. They are both carrying us live this hour on with a special interview with Honorable Johnson and Gwaikolo. Honorable Gwaikolo is the chair on the House's Rules, Order, and Administration. Let's go back further. Last year, when the president took a tour and then looking at the fertileness of the soil of district number 9, he decided to have a farm there. What can you say? What's the status of the farm? Has he started to cultivate something, or how is it like?
And how is the collaboration like with you as a lawmaker, and what's the state of the farm, sir?
Well, thank you. We first like to thank the president that he accepted our invitation to include Gwaikolo in his tour, nationwide tour, and that prior to that, he had also accepted, the offer of the farmland from the citizens of that area.
Okay.
And so, during the visitation, they did some cultivation. They brushed the farm just for rice farming.
Okay.
The first time where the president himself demonstrated his own skills in slashing the bush. And so that's where we are. His thought is to develop that farm mechanically.
Okay.
Yeah, so after that, initial engagement, he designated somebody whom I took, to the farm, and the person met with the community and said, well, we develop this farm, and mechanize it, and even name it Liberty Farm.
Okay.
Liberty Farm. So yeah, they are still acquiring the equipment and other items to start the farm officially. I'm on my way again, by way of announcement. I'm on my way to Gwaikolo to see that area tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning I'm going out there, to engage and talk to the folks there, as part of the, tour that we do during the break.
So is it going to be like a project for the community, not just owned by the president, but the president wants to make farm that will also benefit the locals? Is it in that direction?
Yeah, it will be the president's farm.
Okay.
But the community will benefit because employment will be, from the community. Development, the farmhouses, corporate social responsibilities that go with those kinds of things will help to improve the lives of the citizens of that area.
Okay, Honorable, one thing, election is just next door to us, and one of the things people are all not gearing up to politicians is how to solidify their grip on power on election. How is your relationship with the people? your district. How strong are you? Or have you seen a contender that will beat you up?
There are contenders. Whether they can beat me is another story. And I'm saying that not with arrogance, I'm saying that respectfully. Simply because when you are in a political position, you like to live, I think somebody said that before, like to live as if to say tomorrow is election. You see, and in my own assessment of myself and feedback from community people, that's what we've been doing. Living like tomorrow is, election. I'm accessible. Again, all these are relative arrangement. I'm accessible, maybe not to 100%, but to 90% of citizens who want to get me. I'm accessible to them. I reach out to the district. There may be some towns, 1 or 2 towns that I've not been to in electoral district number 9, but they've heard from me. That is important. Whatever they want done, they bring it to my attention. We work towards it. Even if it is delayed, it gets done. And so that's the kind of engagement that we have with our people, for which they are appreciating, us to say, oh, it will be best for us to carry, on Gwaikolo a second time.
Do you see a second term future?
I'm looking towards that, yes. I believe that, it will work out. I believe that, through a positive engagement, with our citizens, we're all, because we are there for one another. I always say this, anytime you go into an elected position, the first term is a learning curve. You see, it is the second term that you can do more. Right now, I started this legislative tenure at number 62. I've come before the tenure is over to number 7. Who knows? If I come back the second time,
you're not in number 1. You could
say
go closer. You could go closer to number 1 or number 2.
So those are the kind of dynamics that our citizens need to look at, so as to work together with the lawmakers.
So what do you think is your greatest challenge that you want to work on before the tenure expires?
My greatest challenge will be to complete all those projects that we started, because it's important. If you say to somebody, this will do during my tenure, you must do everything possible to complete that. Then that will give them the courage and the zeal to say, well, he lived up to his expectation. So let's give him another chance to even do more for us. That's the way we are looking at things.
Okay, Honorable, recently the President of Liberia distributed equipment or vehicles, to be specific, including motorbikes, to local, which your district, people from Nimba also receive. What can you say? People are saying that, is it because we are nearing election? Is it why the President is now giving vehicles to local chiefs? What do you see such a gift?
Assessment of the president gesture to the people as a lawmaker. What's your own assessment?
I thought he did well by providing the equipment to our chiefs and elders. Because after his tour, and we all encouraged him to go on that tour, and he did. You see, he made observations. And I'm particularly pleased about the Paramount Chiefs, because those Paramount Chiefs, first, they are not on payroll. Second, they actually own the land, because those are the chiefs that have direct engagement with the citizens. You see, so the commissioners, the superintendents, statutory superintendents are all administrative, but the owners of the land. So they needed some facilitation, some mobility to move from community to community as they engage the actual citizens of the country. So it was a good gesture. Now, the question of, is this a political gesture or is it? No, it's not. Because every tenure you have 6 years. Your tenure is not over until the 6th year is over. So you
sometimes you pave the way towards it for the other tenure.
So yeah,
proposed, telling you that you're eyeing.
Yeah. So if you go and see things and say, well, look, my people have come and seen what you need here, you still have some time left to make good on that promise, and that's what happened. And say, oh, I'll make vehicles available for y'all. So he came back when he got the resources, he made it available for them. So it should be seen as a way of empowering our citizens, our chiefs and elders to move around and engage their people, without tying it to, a political gesture. The politics will come. The season will come. We got, 2022, the end of 2022, 2023, and then we'll get into the political season.
Now that the Chiefs have taken their vehicles in the hinterland, especially like your district, what has been the feedback? How are they making use of those vehicles? What has been the feedback from the people back home?
They are grateful. They are very grateful. In fact, our own chiefs and elders, from electoral district number 9, call us and say, oh, thank you very much. You convey our thanks and appreciation to the president again. Most of them were at the SKD when the equipment was delivered to them. But they call us, our chiefs and elders, and say, well, you all did well, and the president has lived up to his commitment, and that is helping us now to move around to see our people. And it is important in this day and age. In the old days when they used to tow people in hammock, those days are gone. And so motorbikes are now accessible and assessing how to get areas that vehicles, four-wheel vehicles cannot go. You see, and so this effort is going to help, and it's helping our chiefs and elders throughout the country.
Okay, Honorable, many a times lawmakers in this country, some of them, after each sitting, they will go back to the constituents and tell them about what happened or what they do intend to do for the next sitting. In time past, you've done it. Are you going again? When are you going to do same?
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, we have reports, and you must report on something substantive.
Okay.
We're interrupted.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2020 with this COVID-19. It's just that Liberians and Africans, we are strong. So the resistance helped us not to be devastated by the way it was in the West and so forth. So it slowed us down. But we have our reports already. We've been waiting to have this report at the district sitting where most of our people will come. But because we have not had a county sitting, for us to have a district sitting, we'll just go ahead and then schedule this report, our district report, maybe within the next week or two. Where we rotate. We started with Bidoro, then we went to Do, and so this time we might be going to Yahweh Mesona.
Okay, Honorable, this is a very good thing to do, to report to your people, and COVID-19 has interrupted your reporting system to your people. This is an opportunity for you to give a summary of what you intend reporting. What are the key issues that are embedded into the report your people would like to hear?
My people would like to hear development initiatives that we've undertaken. They like to hear, based on what their interests are, how have we responded to those interests. We'll be reporting on infrastructure development, specifically rural rehabilitation, school construction, clinic construction. Then we'll be reporting on the soft side, things that you don't see. Okay. Students we send to school, medication that we help to buy for the clinics, interventions we do, when those interventions are needed, we'll be reporting on all of those things.
I'm of a strong conviction that the issue of ancillary matter will also be in that report.
Absolutely. It will be in our report, and then we'll explain to our people, the reasoning for that decision.
Recently, civil society organizations in Nimba did communicate with the leadership of the county caucus, calling for the auditing of the project management committee. How is it now? Has the PMC been audited?
No, the PMC has not been audited. We, at the county sitting, approved an an amount for an audit
Okay.
to be conducted by GAC. Yes, so that audit has not taken place. The civil society organizations called for a social audit.
Okay.
Yeah, and they notify the PMC. And so at their level, they just send us a copy, just for our information. Subsequently, the CSOs, civil society organizations, they wrote us back and said, oh, the people have not complied with the audit. So we communicated, with the county administration and the PMC. And they said, well, they had some issues with the CSO itself.
Okay.
And so they were awaiting the resolution of those issues before, they can go ahead and do the audit. So that's where we are at on that.
So when will be the next county sitting? Since indeed the PMC has not been audited, people are going to be looking at them. All eyes going to be on them.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not a requirement to
Okay.
audit before you go to a new county sitting. It's necessary. It's useful. Let me put it that
Yeah.
way. It could help, but it's not a requirement. And so next week, God's willing, the caucus will come together to set a date, for the county sitting. My own estimation is that sometime in the middle of April, we might do that county sitting. That's my own estimation.
Okay, if you join us, you're watching Nimba Dina Television, of course, Liberia Public Radio. Mark down Joseph Seyon. We are here with the Honorable District Number 9, Nimba County, the Honorable Professor Johnson N. Gwaikolo. He's our guest. He is the House's Chair on Rules, Order, and Administration, HOR 7th, as they usually call it at the level of the capital building. Honorable, let's go back to the district. Last year, you embarked on a gigantic project. One may say it's a very large project. It just it came in when lawmakers were quote unquote given 30,000 for engagement. You undertook a huge project. Tell us the Ferry Project. How is it now?
Well, thank you. The Ferry Project is moving on very well, to the extent that the work is almost completed. The physical construction of the ferry at this point, has gone to about $48,000.
Wow.
Yes, $48,000. Yes. So the physical construction is done now. The next stage is to transport it from, Monrovia to the waterfront. That requires some rehabilitation of the road because the landing area where the ferry will be placed in the water has to be resurfaced. And so that work is going on now. The ferry is heavy. It's about, its own weight is about maybe 18,000 tons. And so to put it on the low bed requires strong roads. So there are a couple of bridges on the way that are being strengthened and rehabilitated right now. So our own estimation is for the ferry to be at the waterfront within the next week or 2 weeks at the most. Once it's there, then the work that needs to be done while the ferry is now placed over the water will be completed and being useful. We like to note with pleasure that our people in the Bingla area are doing very well. As a matter of fact, we've done the Nimba County side of the waterfront. We've graded it, the road has been redone, and so we're waiting for the Bon County side to be completed.
Are they willing to do the resurfacing of it?
Yes, they too are willing. At a time like this dry season, everybody using their piece of equipment. So to get equipment rented to do the work, we have to wait in line. And that's what the delay is all about. But I'm very pleased about the work that is going on. And this is what this ferry is going to do for us. I have a passion for that. Because the route to the southeast, that goes through our district. Going through our district is the shortest route. You see, so it will make
District number 9, Nimba.
yes, district number 9 Nimba. It will make access to our district easier. It will make access to the southeast easier. So that ferry will help government to pay its attention on that road network so as to help up. If you look at Zikepa, which is the headquarters of electoral district number 9, geographically, it is in the middle of Liberia.
The proposed capital
Yes,
city for
city
Liberia.
for Liberia. And so we have to pick that up and run with it. That indeed we should work so that tomorrow Zikepa can become the capital city of this nation that will help, to give easy access to every part of this country. District number 9 is the only district in this republic that has 5 borders with 5 counties. Yeah, Bon County, Grand Bassa County, Riverside County, Sino County, and Grand Jeddah. You see, so we are in a strategic location to the extent that when a ferry is functional, easy access will be to that district, and not only there, we will have easy access to go to Grand Jeddah, to go to Sino, and other parts of the county and the country. So we are excited about that.
Are you guys sharing that thought with some of the key policymakers of this country?
Yes.
And what has been some of the response from them?
There's been positive. People have been looking at it favorably that indeed we need to open up the country. And one way to open up the country is to ensure that, we have easy access to as many parts of the country as possible. So the Polyworks team, has been very, very keen on this. Other sectors, health sector, they have also been keen on this. Even the rubber industry, because that's a shorter route for people to bring the rubber, to the market. And so it's catching the attention of major stakeholders, and we hope and pray that it will continue so that our country and district can be opened up.
I think one of the key to be pushing is the construction of a bridge over the river there, so that that can be the starting point of what you intend to, see happening there. Even though you have taken the ferry there, but that could be your next coastal champion.
Right. The ferry will call attention, and then that attention is our prayer that it will subsequently lead to, construction of the full bridge. That the width of the river at that point is 300 feet. Yeah, so it's a wide river. St. John River is a wide river, 300 feet. Now to put a concrete bridge over that has a span of 300 feet, are millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but the ferry will be the precursor when government and international partners see the value of cutting the distance, in half from here to the southeast. They will pay attention to that and support that project.
Okay, Honorable, let's go a little bit in outside of Liberia. Diplomatically, Liberia has had some connection with some Western world. I'm speaking in terms of the world, in the war, the invasion of Russia by Ukraine. Ukraine by Russia. Mr. Putin has vehemently started with the invasion last month. We've gone 1 month now. The president of Liberia condemned the situation. How do you see this as a diplomat, this invasion by Mr. Putin?
Well, thank you for that question. Again, we have a foreign policy that is articulated by the president, and the president stated Liberia's position, on this war, and condemned the war, and joined other forces to condemn the war, particularly Russia, by starting the war. War is not good. You who start the war have problem. You who the war is against have problem. At the end of the day, the citizens that we took an oath to protect and help to improve their lives, are challenged, and that's what's happening in Ukraine right now, and even in Russia, parts of Russia right now. I strongly believe that anything and everything can be resolved through discussion, through peaceful discussion, short of aggression, short of war, short of destruction. When you see the impact of the war on Ukraine, the cities of Ukraine, you see Mariupol, even Kiev, the capital city, Lviv, you see all those places are being impacted and destroyed, as a consequence of this war. We don't know the full intent of President Putin, the reasons for which he waged the war, but what is eminent that people should look at and find a way to stop this war is that it's destroying lives and property. It is dislocating and creating refugee situation way beyond, what is necessary at this time. So it's not a good thing. We should pray that the people in that region become wise so that they can stop the war and then work along with one another.
Okay, Honorable, is there any other issue that we love to say that we haven't touched from the district, from Liberia, and just before we take leave for you?
Well, I'd like to say just thank you to all of you, for this opportunity, this platform. Basically, I just like to let our people know that the decision on ArcelorMittal was made in the interest of this country. We hope and pray that the agreement will be renegotiated so that components will be placed in there to the betterment of our citizens. I'd like to say to our people in Electoral District number 9 that all is well. We need to work together to do what we can for the upliftment of our district. One person cannot do it. We all have to work hand in hand, in order to make things happen. I'd like to say to our people of the county that indeed the county is what we have. We have to work together to make Nimba County stronger. I also like to encourage our citizens to apply for the census. The census, those who have completed high school, let's apply to be part of the enumerators. And when the census starts in June or July, I encourage our people to go out there to their various places, their birthplaces, their hometowns, to register and be part of the number that the census figures will show. And it's important because development is based on population. The more you are, the more attention you will get so that you can benefit from developmental initiatives. Thank you.
Okay, folks, that's all the time we have to be with you on this special interview with Honorable Johnson and Gwaikolo. He's the district number 9 Nimba County representative. I've been here with my colleague Joseph Seyon. I want to say thank you, Seyon, for coming. Honorable, thank you so much. We hope that we can have another opportunity to speak with you again whenever the need arises.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you.
Thank